All right, let's see here. All right, we'll see people popping in. Hey, Barry, how's it going, brother? Hey, Rock, Gerd, Gerd, I titled this live just for you. All right, we'll wait just another minute. I'm doing good, Barry. I have some announcements to make about some things, but hey, Graham, how's it going? Now I'm playing with the light because I'm outside. Um, I was having problems inside the ice fishing shelter, and for what I'm about to do, I didn't want to play around inside there anyway. So I'll just go ahead and get started, and then if anybody else pops in, we'll call it good. But don't forget, if you like my content, go ahead and like and subscribe. Share me around like a bad cold. All right. So what we're talking about today, and thanks, Graham. So I talk a lot about my hot tents and my stoves and all the different ways that I uh, heat my tent and keep myself warm at night. Hi, Susan. Hi, SJ. Um, so, like I said, I'm trying to play with the light. So if my face gets really dark, it's kind of overcast and sunny, and I'm playing with that. But so all the times I talk about, my tent buddy or my tent stoves and all of that, and everybody keeps telling me about getting a chubby. Now, I didn't know what a chubby was, and I talked to my newlywed son, and he talked about something entirely different. But what I'm talking about, of course, is the Campy Gear 2-in-1 outdoor heater stove, aka the Chubby. And I'll show you why here in just a minute. Now, like I said, I'm still trying to play with the light here, um, and we'll see what we can do about getting this over here, and we'll get set up that way. All right, so let's go ahead and open it up. If you can see, now I've already used this once, um, just to test it out, but that's what it is. I can't tell if you can see me or not. And we'll open it up. Now, the one that I got came with the propane tank hose and a cook pot. So it's all in one neat little package. Comes with a neat little handle. And here it is. That's the stove itself. Comes with its own cook pot. Let me put this over here. Now, that's the stove portion itself. Now, here in the bottom comes out the heater portion, your propane line, and a neat little cage. That's a pain in the butt to get out. Here we go. All right. So it has three different kinds of configurations. This, of course, is just for cooking. Um, then we put the cage on it, and I got to make sure I get the right slots in the right place. And we're upside down. There we go. Now this snaps into here. and this is for heating. Now you can cook on this as well because it has this really nice little air damper on the top. So if you're just heating, you would have it closed. If you were cooking, you would have it open. And you've got a cook pot for it. So it's a multitasker. It runs on isobutane and propane and butane. Um, so it's readily equipped for the butane, and it's got the hose for the propane. Now, Campy Gear says not to use this in a tent, and I'm going to show you why here in a minute. Um, it does give off a little bit of carbon monoxide. I did run it for 4 hours inside the ice fishing shelter, and I got no reading on the carbon monoxide tester. So with that, we'll come back over here because, like I said, I'm fighting with the light. Let me put my notes down over here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use the isobutane. Okay. Now, to light this, I don't recommend that you try to light it in the heating or cooking configuration, and we'll show you why here in a minute. I'm going to take all of this off, and if you look up here, there's an air damper, and that's for the different types of fuel. So if it's not set correctly and you have a propane can on there, it will flare. You'll get a huge flare until you can get the air valve adjusted. That's where most of the complaints come from because they don't really explain how to use it. Um, and for all the different gases, you have to have a different air mixture for it to combust. And of course, if it does combust in a big, huge flames, it has a risk of setting your tent on fire. So I would definitely recommend that you use it at your own risk inside a tent. But it is possible if you're careful and you light it outside first, get it all stable, put the carry handle on it, and carry it into your shelter or your tent or whatever. So there's the port for the butane and the isopropane mix. Um, Comes with a really nice braided line with brass fittings, really good valve for the propane, which is great. It'll take all different size cans of propane. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the ISO can on it. Now it will accommodate the small cans and the big cans. You just have to remember the big cans are going to stick out further than the legs. All right, so there. And like I said, I don't even know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. There we go. How about that? All right, so with that, I'm going to show you why they say not to use it in a tent and how we can get around that. So we're going to crack the valve open. You can hear the gas come out. Okay. Now, if you play with the air mixture, you can get your flame right, or you can make it flare up like that. With propane, it's more violent. Okay. But I think right about there, and I don't know if you'll be able to see the flame, but it's a nice blue-green flame, and it's hot. Right. So now with that, we can take this guy and drop this guy right over the top, and it pops into place, and now we're set because the valve is open up top. We're set for cooking, or if we're careful enough to close that valve, now we're set for heating. And that's about it. You know, it does have a nice cook pot that you can put on top. You can put your regular pot on there, and of course we'll go ahead and shut it down. But that is what the Chubby is. Now with that, let me see if I could get myself in some better light. So, how's that? Is that better? No, half a face, right? How about if we go this way? That's a little bit better. So with that, they're about $80 on Amazon. Um, There are a few things to remember. Like I said, it's dangerous to try to light it inside a tent. They don't recommend it for inside a tent, but if you're in like a tarp shelter or a lean-to, something like that, it would probably be great. It kicks out about 9,000 BTUs, which is a little bit better than our Mr. Tent Buddy, um, but that's only limited to propane. This one, it packs down small enough to where you can put it in a pack and take it with you. Really small, very, very light. It's only under, I think, a pound altogether. Um, the only thing is it doesn't have storage in the bag for the can unless you keep it in the heating and cooking mode, and the bag is big enough for it to fit in there. I'm not going to put it in there now because it's hot. It'll probably melt the bag. And that's a chubby. Now, what I'm going to try to do when I repost this video is I'll put the link for the chubby on Amazon in the description, and you can check it out there. And that's about it on that thing. It's pretty neat. I mean, pretty versatile. I've tried it. The only thing I want to do is try to make some kind of a reflector for half of the backside so it doesn't radiate 360, because where I usually keep the heater, it's close to a wall, and I don't want to do that. And there we go. That's better. And other than that, I have nothing else to report other than I do have surgery on May 18th, so I might not be around for a little bit, but I will be popping in occasionally to do some quick lives. Um, I've got an hey Devota, how are you? Um, and so far, Devota, with that stove, I'm pretty impressed. I haven't had it out in some extreme cold temperatures, but um, down in the 40s and 50s, it definitely does a great job, and it brought the tent, the ice fishing shelter from, I think it was 43 degrees to 60 in under an hour. Um, and other than that, I do have a surgical date, like I said, on the 18th, so I won't be around shortly thereafter for a few weeks. But like I said, I will be popping in occasionally, let everybody know how things are going. I hope you like this video and this live feed. Uh, it's something that's truly, truly near and dear to me to get out. It's definitely soul cleansing to get out in the woods. Um, Other than that, that's all I got, folks. Any questions about the stove before I let you all go? None? All right. Well, thank you. My name's Cliff. This is In the Field with Sarge. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share me around like a bad cold, and we'll go from there. All right. And remember, everybody, love one another. Now I don't know how to turn it off. No, I don't want to be live anymore.